This episode could be called Meditation 101. You'll hear about the neuroscience behind claims about the practice and practical tips, like how to position your body when you sit and what you should be doing while you're doing it.
We must also realize that the problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power.
While there is a lower class, I am in it. While there is a criminal element, I am of it. And while there is a soul in prison, I am not free.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Mohler, a writer and meditation teacher based in DC, and welcome to another episode of Meditation for the Masses. I'm here to take the practice of meditation out of faraway monasteries, expensive retreat centers, and corporations like Google and other tech companies in Silicon Valley and bring it to the things that matter most. That'd be work, relationships, and even politics. I like to think of this podcast as mindfulness for everyone but the 1%. Please hit subscribe on whatever podcast app you're using. Also, if you have a moment, sign up for my weekly email with tips on meditation practice. I send that out every week. It's very similar to the podcast in terms of content, but if you like to read this stuff, check that out. You can do that at jeremymohler.blog/sign up. So let's do this. If you're scared to meditate or think it's for hippies, listen to this. I want you to think for a second. When you hear the word meditation, what image pops up in your mind? Is it the typical Asian monk with a shaved head sitting in a cave? Is it a white woman doing yoga in her expensive condo right next to a Whole Foods? Probably both of those things or a mix of those things. And yes, meditation, at least the kind that produces mindfulness, which I defined on the last episode, it derives from Buddhism, an ancient Indian religion that's practiced mostly in Asian countries. And yes, mindfulness and meditation like yoga has blown up in places like Silicon Valley and Brooklyn and other affluent enclaves in cities around the U.S. There's a meditation studio near me here in D.C. I haven't been there yet, but I was looking at their website the other day, and it charges $20 for 30 minutes for classes like meditating with crystals, sound bath with gong. These are the titles of the classes. I'm not going to judge those classes. I haven't been in them. And I'm sure they're very nice and well-intentioned people teaching those classes. And of course, they're probably struggling with the rent, just like pretty much everyone else these days. But that's not exactly accessible stuff, especially for all the people, say, working in the restaurants up and down Connecticut Avenue there in DuPont Circle. But meditation can be and is increasingly becoming a secular practice. At its core, it's a practice for the most basic aspects of being a human being: breathing, listening, feeling sensations in the body. And it's actually free to do it at any time on your own. There's no equipment to buy. There are no crystals or gongs that you need. Now, why do we need to practice breathing? Right? Why do we need to listen and feel things in our body? It's because we forget. We forget about our ability to be present and aware, our natural, quote unquote, mindfulness, because we almost constantly think about the past and the future. We replay experiences that we've been through, maybe the fight that you had with your girlfriend last night. You wake up and you're sort of questioning if you said the right thing. Or we try to plan experiences we're about to have, whether that's anxiety about something coming up, worried about how it's going to go. We spend a lot of time thinking about the past and the future. And if you just take a few seconds to slow down, put down your phone, step away from the computer, pull over to the side of the road, and just literally do nothing for a few seconds, nothing but breathe, you'll notice that your mind wanders. It's natural. It's what our minds do. But we often forget that. We don't notice, and we forget that our wandering thoughts are what they are. They're passing thoughts that don't necessarily match reality. They don't necessarily correspond to what's going on around us and how we feel. So when that's happening, when we're lost in this quote-unquote virtual reality, as meditation teacher Tara Brach calls it, We actually forget to breathe fully. We have short breath. We also forget to feel our bodies and notice that we are a body, that we're physical. There's a physical nature to our existence. We forget to feel our butt in the seat as we drive, if we're caught up in road rage, something like that. We forget to pay attention to what's around us. We're sort of on an autopilot. And this autopilot, this virtual reality, often causes us stress. It's often the cause of our stress. Obviously, there are other things that can cause us stress, real material things in the world. But oftentimes, it's really just ourselves that are stressing ourselves out. And for some of us, this autopilot or virtual reality, the sense of never being present and being stuck in the future and the past, it gives us a never-ending sense that something is wrong or missing. Like we're just not really here. And there's something more to reality, and we're almost constantly seeking that and stressed out and anxious about it. In fact, scientific research has shown that regular meditation can actually shrink the part of the brain called the amygdala. This is the fight or flight part of the brain, you might have heard of it, that processes emotions like anxiety, fear, and aggression. But that's not why I do it every day. I don't meditate because my amygdala is shrinking. I started meditating regularly once I noticed myself being a little bit more mindful and a little bit less stressed while at work, while talking to my girlfriend and my roommates, while driving, everyday things. I needed to experience the benefits firsthand, and it didn't take that long to do so. And I imagine it probably won't take that long for you either. So here are the basics of the meditation I'm familiar with. It's called insight meditation. Here's how to sit, how long to sit, what to think about, and what the whole point of all of this is. And if you're not scared off yet, if you're still listening, this will be enough to get you started. But don't let this be your only point of entry. Listen to talks, read books about meditation. I've got other podcast episodes on books that are great for beginning meditators. And if it's available to you, if you live in a city where there are classes on the regular, go drop in on a class. Go see a teacher speak. Learning from experienced teachers and talking to other meditators, other people that aren't, monks wearing robes, will help show you that this is an absolutely normal and extremely human practice. I mean, we're talking about breathing, right? So first things first, find a quiet place and set a timer. You're bound to feel vulnerable while meditating. Your eyes are closed and your mind, at least when you start, is focused inward. So you're going to feel a little vulnerable. Find a quiet place where you can close the door and be away from people and other distractions. Set a timer. There is a great app called Insight Timer. You don't want to have to be worried about looking at the clock the entire time. You want to be focused on your breath. So Insight Timer has bell sounds. You can set it to ring at the end of the meditation. You can have all kinds of presets if you want to do a 5-minute, a 10-minute, 20-minute meditation. I really like that app, and it's free. 10 minutes is probably a good time to start. It's just enough time to try these basic exercises that I'm about to talk about, but it's not going to feel like a heavy burden. Next, once you set the timer and it's going, start by getting your posture right. And you do want your eyes closed. Some people meditate with their eyes opened. Do whatever feels comfortable, but in this method, you have your eyes closed. The word mindfulness sounds like meditation is a practice for the mind or the brain, but it's actually a practice of synchronizing or matching up the mind with the body. It's very much about the body. So the way you situate your body while you're meditating is very important. You might sit on a cushion or a stiff pillow. You might lay down, or you might stand, or you may even walk slowly. I would suggest sitting in a chair or on a cushion for this particular meditation. But bottom line is you want to have a posture instead of curling up in a chair or in a bed as if you were going to sleep. You don't want to fall asleep. The point here is to wake up. Ultimately, though, do whatever is comfortable for your particular body. If laying down is comfortable, then do that. There's nothing strict about this. The most common sitting position is in a cushion or in a chair with your back straight and your shoulders back and down. Imagine you have a tail coming out from your tailbone that you actually don't want to sit on. I learned this in a New York Times article recently about posture and about the lower back. Just imagine you have a tail coming out there in the back, and you wouldn't want to sit on that. So you're going to arch your back a little bit to push out the tailbone, and that's going to have that healthy arch but keep your back straight. Once you're settled into that position, and again, the timer's still going, your eyes are closed, you're in a quiet room, consciously relax your body. And the way to do this is kind of slowly make your way through your body. So start at the top. Put your mind's attention on your forehead. Soften the skin and the muscles there. You can even move down to around your eyes, the muscles around your eyes. There's plenty there to relax and just loosen up and soften. You might even imagine that the warmth of the sun is shining down on your face. On a perfect 72-degree day, San Diego, you're on the beach. And just move your attention down through your face, into your jaw, around your lips, relaxing, and just noticing what you feel as you make your way through. And during this part of the meditation session, the only two things you need to do is relax, soften, and 2, notice. Just relax your muscles and the skin as you make your way down through your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your fingers, back up to your chest, and then your stomach, legs, and feet. And you would do it much slower than that. You just take your time. And as you soften, just notice what sensations you feel in those areas when they're relaxed. Do you feel tingling? Do you feel burning? Maybe you feel some pain. Maybe you feel some pleasure. As long as it's not too strong, just stay with it and notice. Maybe you don't feel anything at all, but just notice that without judging what you find as good or bad or putting pressure on yourself to feel something. Just soften and then notice. Once you make your way through your body, you're going to then focus on your breath. You probably guessed that. And once you've scanned through the body, and the body scan should take a few minutes, but once you're done, put your attention on the movement of your breath in and out. So follow the air as it enters your nose. If you're breathing through your mouth, you can do it there. It could be then down your throat. Then notice how your lungs expand, and then follow your breath out and try to notice what your body feels like and what it's doing when you breathe. You'll quickly notice that just as your body breathes without you telling it to, your mind instinctively wanders. It quickly pulls its attention away from the breath because there's not much going on there. It's very subtle. It's not like looking at Facebook or watching some documentary on Netflix that's really engaging. It's not Bird Box. Your mind is thinking about breathing 1 second and then wondering about what to cook for dinner, what's going to happen later tonight. It's wondering about dinner, then it's replaying an argument you had last night. It's kind of jumping all around. And when you notice that your mind is wandering, bring your attention back to your body. Just bring it back to that place where you can really feel your breath, whether that's your lungs, your throat, your nose. And this is the training. You're training your mind to stay put right here in this rhythm of breathing. And this is the practice. Now, your mind is going to keep wandering over and over again for the rest of the meditation and the rest of your life. But in its most basic form, meditation is training to notice when your mind is doing that, when it's wandering elsewhere, and to bring back your attention to the present moment. And that could be through feeling your body. It could be listening to what's around you. It could be listening to what someone's saying to you so you can pay attention, whatever it takes to come back. Now, obviously, it's important to plan and think about things in the future or try to determine if we did something in the past and what we need to learn from it. But we want to have a little bit more control over when we're doing that. And we want to be able to have a little bit more control of when we're in the present moment because it's very difficult to stay here. So that's it. There's not much more to it than that. I actually like how the creators of the app Headspace, which I have yet to try, I need to do that. Folks have asked me to try some apps and kind of give some reviews of the apps. I will do that at some point. Headspace is probably the most popular, I believe. Maybe Insight Timer might be popular. I can't endorse Headspace, but I like how they put this about meditation. They said, this is the one skill where you don't have to strive to achieve something, just a place of stillness where no effort is required. So when the bell rings on your phone, give it your attention until the sound fades away, and then open your eyes and come back into, regular reality. And then you might notice if you feel different than you did 10 minutes ago. And if you don't feel much different, that's okay too. It might take a few daily sessions of this 10-minute exercise to start to notice the subtle, but potentially, and in my experience, massive changes going on inside of you. And here's a pro tip. I just uploaded a free 10-minute guided meditation that walks you through all of these steps. And you can just hit play, close your eyes, and listen. All you have to do is sign up for my weekly email with meditation tips. I send it out every week, as I mentioned before. Do that at jeremymohler.blog/sign up. All right, last thing. I've been starting this. I started this on the last episode. Here's one thing you can try today to get you started down this path. So today, either right after I'm done saying this, maybe just before bed, whenever it is, sit down in a quiet room for 5 minutes. You don't even have to do 10 minutes. And just notice your body breathing. Try to feel where you notice your breath and follow it. And then notice how you feel afterwards, after those 5 minutes. Are you a little less present? Are you a little more present? Is your body a little bit more relaxed? Do you hear the sounds around you? The cars passing outside, maybe your children downstairs. Is it a little bit more alive in the moment for you? It's an experiment. Just see what happens. All right, that's all I've got. Stick around for more on my writing and teaching schedule, and thanks for taking the time to listen. A few things before you get on with your day. Make sure you're subscribed to Meditation for the Masses on iTunes or whatever app you use for podcasts. That's so you won't miss an episode. If you want more from me, sign up for my weekly email on meditation at jeremymohler.blog/signup. My website also has free recordings of guided meditations and when and where I teach meditation in person. I generally teach in the Washington, D.C. area, but hope to expand my reach in the near future. And finally, please rate this episode on whatever app you use to listen to it. You might not realize how important that is. I spent years loving podcasts like The Tim Ferriss Show and The Dig without ever actually rating them, even though their host would ask me to rate them on every episode. Ratings make podcast apps recommend Meditation for the Masses to folks looking for podcasts on meditation. So it's really important to me. I deeply appreciate you listening. Thank you.